Oh boy, I am so glad I waited for Eminem's revival before I did my year-end list. Oh yay! No, 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 no. 2017, pretty good year for music overall. Personally preferred 2016 a little bit more than 2017, but here we have it, 2017. 50 albums that I love and 50 that I think are worth listening to. If you haven't heard any of these, then go and listen to them once I've recommended them, and this is my personal list of what I thought was the best this year. A few albums that grew on me over time have like bumped up my list, and some albums that I initially thought were incredible have dropped a little bit, but that's not because they're less incredible, it's just kind of the way it is, you know, just sometimes you hype up an album and then it just drops a little bit over time once other albums come out and once you've had time to sit with it for longer. But yeah, I'm excited to reveal my list, I really am. Pretty good year for me overall. Started this channel really enjoying doing all these reviews and all these videos talking about music, just something I'm really passionate about, so I am happy to share my year-end list. And here's the list, I'm going to start it now. 50. Underachievers with Renaissance. They're a pretty consistent hip-hop group. They pretty much feature on most of my year-end lists, and this album was another addition to their discography. I like this one. And then 49, Flotation Toy Warning, an indie rock band that returned after like 13 years with a very good comeback album. 48, Jlin or Jlin, I never known how to say it, with her Black Origami album, a very mixed reception album because a lot of people were split on their opinions with this one. I think it's a great electronic album. And then 47, Code Orange with Forever, a great hardcore metalcore band, Code Orange are. Switchkraft with Jandom Lobe at 46, a really great electronic dubstep-y banger album that I discovered through Bandcamp. Check it out because I'm sure a lot of people won't know this one. Now 45 will be controversial because it's very low on my list, and I know this has been really high on many year-end lists, but just in terms of replay value, it's very hard to keep going back to this one because of the subject matter, so it can't really be that high on my list. But that's not to say that this album isn't incredible, because it is, and that is Mount Eerie's A Crow Looked at Me. 44, another consistent hip-hop artist in the game, Billy Woods, Known Unknowns. 43, an excellent electronic album that came out this year as well, Bicep with their self-titled album. And then 42, we have Villere with her comeback album, Plunge. At 41, another under-the-radar electronic pop release that came out this year from Lydia, Ainsworth, the darling of the Afterglow. Honestly thought this was so nice and lovely. Yeah, definitely check it out, please. At number 14, album that took a bit to grow on me, Xiu Xiu with Forget. And then 39, another album that took a while to grow on me. Didn't like this at all at first, but Kelly Lee Owens with her self-titled debut album. Really great album this is. Honestly, so subtle and so mesmerizing at the same time. Wiki at number 38, an underrated hip-hop album for sure, No Mountains in Manhattan. And then 37, a cool indie pop album I discovered called Little World by Zack Villere. 36, Ya Boy, King Cruel with The Ooze. Great follow-up album to 6 Feet Beneath the Moon. And then 35, Jay-Z, an artist I've never really understood the hype to, except for the Blueprint. I love the Blueprint, but everything else just has always been okay to me. But he came through with 444, probably his most vulnerable and personal release yet, and I think this is really, really good. Post-punk band Proto Martyr with Relatives in Descent at 34, and then 33, Pax by Yoral Droog, a really good New York MC for sure. At 32, a really good art pop, indie pop album from an artist called Rose Eleanor Dougal with the album Stellular. I really didn't see many talk about this one, but I honestly found this to be so good. Honestly, so friggin' good. 31, the very excellent electronic album by Blank Mass. Quite a few electronic albums on my year-end list this year, definitely. World Eater was one of the highlights, definitely for electronic this year. Snow Allegra at 30 with Feels, honestly a really good R&B album that deserved more attention. Featured this one in my underrated albums list. And then 29, Neil Cicerega with Mouth Moods. Man, Neil Cicerega just comes through with insane mashups. Like, honestly, this album is just so funny and so creative. Like, what a guy he is. What a guy. 28, Daniel Caesar with Freudian, a really cool breakout R&B singer from this year. I'm sure he's got a great future ahead of him after hearing this one. Freudian, really good album. 27, Casey Deanell with The Imitation of a Woman to Love. If you've heard of White Hinterland, then you should also check out Casey Deanell as well, because it's the same woman, just under a different name. And unfortunately, I think that pushed her music a bit down because of that, because no one really hyped this one up. But honestly, this is so good, really good art pop album. Kalela at 26 with Take Me Apart. It's forward-thinking, FK Twigs-ish R&B music, really sexy and sultry. And then 25, the band Power Bottom with Pageant. Now, I think this album is very, very good, but the band Power Bottom themselves were under some controversy this year. Allegations were made towards one of the singers. I don't think it changes the music, honestly. I think this is an amazing album, really clever social commentary on this as well, and really catchy indie pop on there as well. So yeah, it's easily on my list. 24, Fleet Foxes with Crack Up, probably their weakest album, and yet it's still amazing. Honestly, I love Fleet Foxes. Their indie folk chamber pop approach is some of the best of all time. I think it's just simple to say that. 23, Richard Dawson with Peasant, an incredible medieval folk album that I think was so interesting to hear a sound like this. It's sort of like listening to Joanna Newsom in the sense that it feels like it's from another time period. And Richard Dawson, man, he's got some excellent songwriting ideas. This one is incredible. 22, the only country album to feature on this list, Jason Eady with his self-titled album. Really great storytelling on this album as well. Jason Eady deserves more attention in the country game for sure. And then 21, the only grime album to feature on this list, the massive return to form from Wiley with his album Godfather. Top 20 now, we are in the top 20, and already there have been amazing albums that I've mentioned, and these are even better, so woo! Don't know what the fuck that was, honestly. Jessica Hoop at number 20 with Memories On Now. This is really beautiful folk music that reminds me at points of Joanna Newsom. I've mentioned her already in this video, but she's just that influential, I guess. She needs to be mentioned all the time. Yeah, Jessica Hoop has an amazing voice. It's not often folk music really takes you by surprise, but Jessica Hoop, I think, is one of the most interesting artists to come out of the folk genre in a long time. 19, a rapper that never gets talked about, and it pisses me off because he's had a few great albums over the past few years now. Odyssey with The Iceberg. Honestly, one of the best hip-hop albums of the year. Better than Damn. I don't know why I said that, but I just thought it was important to say because this is such a good album. Yeah, I think the sort of political angle on a few of these tracks is really done in a very good way. And a lot of catchy tracks like Things. And yeah, honestly, I think Odyssey is improving with each release. It's just a shame he's not really getting the attention yet. Maybe in a few years he'll get it. He's a bit indie at the moment, he's not got a massive following, but he's still on the cusp of like getting a wide audience watching him, because he's not super small, but he's just not quite there yet, and I hope he gets there. I really do hope he gets there. 18, only just been released, but I know for a fact this one will be sticking with me for a long time. The biggest breakout group of the year, Brockhampton with Saturation 3. Yep. Honestly, Saturation 3, just incredible. It took a while to grow on me, and was a perfect end to a trilogy from a band that have been so exciting to watch all year round. They have just brought the hype to 2017 with their music fans have been going insane over them, and they've just made it so much more fun with their singles leading up to their albums. 6 months of 3 albums, and not a single one of the albums is bad. And this again was an incredible end to a trilogy that will be remembered by the end of this decade as one of the coolest things to come out of rap for the whole decade. At 17 we have Randy Newman with Dark Matter. Holy shit, I did not expect this. Got to shout out David on Twitter who put me onto this album. Seriously, did not think that Randy Newman would have an album on my year-end list at the end of this year, but it's been the year of the singer-songwriter, honestly, and this album has so many clever ideas. There's funny tracks like Putin, there's the opening track which is a massive debate. He turned a debate into a song. He is a genius. He is a friggin' genius. Go check this out. I know he's not trendy right now, but Randy Newman put out an amazing album this year. Go listen to it. 16, like I said, the year of the singer-songwriter, Alex Cameron with Forced Witness. What a funny album this is. Holy shit, some hilarious lyrics about relationships and just... oh, honestly, you could put this as a comedy album. It's that funny. Fucking hell. Oh, this is just like really cheesy, chintzy 80s synth pop, but it's actually really catchy in a sort of Twin Shadow Future Islands combination, I guess you could go with there. Yeah, I thought this was really fun and entertaining. Probably the most fun album, I think, of 2017, just for the entertaining lyrics and his songwriting style. It's really good. It's really good synth pop music that you should check out. I don't know how Converge do it every time, but at 15 I've got Converge with The Dusk in Us. Some really interesting lyrical topics on this one. The music is, of course, is harsh and brash as ever. Probably the best metalcore album you'll hear all year. Just like every time they put out an album, it's going to be the metalcore album of the year. In Converge, yeah, they just can't do any wrong. I don't have anything to say at this point because they're just such a good band. A surprising album at 14 because I didn't really know anything about this artist before going into it, but Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings has put out an amazing soul album in 2017. You don't often get like actual fresh soul music that sounds like it's really taking from that period of time, that 60s 70s music, and turning into a really good album that doesn't sound ridiculously nostalgic. It sounds very well made, and it's a shame that she died because I would love to hear more music from this artist in the future, and I can't, but this album is enough to keep me going, I think. Gonna go down as one of the best soul albums of the decade because, like I say, not many come out these days, but this is a breath fresh air. Number 13, Igloo Ghost with the most insane electronic album you'll hear all this year, Neo Wax Bloom. This guy is futuristic. He is just filled with creative ideas that he puts into music that is constantly changing each track. There is not a single note that copies the next note. It's honestly just mind-blowing, and Igloo Ghost is one of the most entertaining electronic artists out there right now. I friggin' love this album. This is so cool and just a whirlwind of musical ideas that you can't explain when you listen to it, but you just know that it is something special because it really fucking is. I've already mentioned them in this video, but at number 12 we have Brockhampton again, this time with Saturation. My favourite of the trilogy, honestly. An album that was such a unique listen on those first initial listens that it couldn't not be on the list. Even if you think Saturation 3 or 2 is better, it just had that impact on me on that first listen. Like, it's such a fresh hip-hop album, nothing like this in 2017, and I think the memories of the album will stick with me for a long time. So many catchy tracks on here like Gold, The Genius, Star, which is so brilliant in its lyrical ideas. I Still Love Milk. Waste is a beautiful closing track. Some of their best songs feature on here. Bump and Heat are bangers. yeah, this will just go down as my favourite of the trilogy for sure. I think this is the one for me. So I didn't think much to Japanese Breakfast on that Psychopomp album, but I think she really came into her own on Soft Sounds from Another Planet. Brilliant dream pop album, has some beautiful tracks on here, like Diving Woman, for example. And man, yeah, this one really stuck with me. It really had like that factor of just beautiful, serene music that I rarely ever hear, but when I do hear it, it's not as good as this. Japanese Breakfast really came through on this one. Excited for future releases. Make sure you check it out, because I know this one again is a little underrated. Didn't feature on that many year-end lists, but it's certainly one of my favourites of the year, so please go listen to it. Top 10 now. Open Mike Eagle to kick off the top 10 of 2017 with Brick Body Kids Still Daydream. Always forget the title to that one. Remembered it this time though for the year-end list. Remembered it. And yeah, the concept here is amazing. Some of the best hip-hop I've heard all year. Open Mike Eagle is a very intelligent rapper. One of the most intelligent rappers around for sure. Friggin' love this album. Open Mike Eagle might be my favourite Open Mike Eagle album too. I think it tops Dark Comedy just by a little bit, and Hella Personal Film Festival. Brick Body Kids Still Daydream, one of the best hip-hop albums of the year. Do not miss this album. If you have overlooked it, don't. Number 9, best breakout rock band of the year, IDLES with Brutalism. This is some insane punk music with such a good political angle. Like, some of the lyrics here are so snarky or in your face, but that is what punk is about. It's about saying what the fuck you want without caring what people think, and IDLES are one of the best breakout bands to be in that style I've heard in a long time. Fucking IDLES, man. This album is just full throttle all the way through, just hard-hitting, abrasive punk music with hilarious lyrics across the thing. Yeah, love IDLES. Need more attention, please listen to this album. And number 8, not really that original in terms of sound, but I don't know, this one stuck with me a lot, and this is Remo Drive's Greatest Hits. I think this is such a well-made album. I love how simple it is. Like, if you just want a simple indie rock, emo rock album to come out in 2017, this is the one. This is the one you want to listen to, man. It's very 90s in its sound, a bit Weezer at points with its power pop melodies. But I don't know, I think this album is one of the best to do it in a long time, and I'm really surprised it made my top 10, but I've just returned to it so much. It's pretty short, 35 minutes-ish, and so much fun the whole way through. Please, again, listen to Remo Drive. Don't miss it just because you think, oh, it's just nostalgic, because it's a bit more than that, honestly. There's a lot of passion put into their music, I think. Number 7, didn't think this one, again, was going to be as high on my list as it is, but here it is, Mr. Liff and Acrobatic with Resolution, also known as The Perceptionists, and they've put out probably the hip-hop album of the year to me, I think. Really great hip-hop music here. It's very catchy and accessible for indie rap as well. Like, this isn't like your Uncommon NASA or Billy Woods, where it's a bit off-kilter. This is actually really accessible, and some really catchy tracks like Out of Control on here. You know, this is a really good hip-hop album. Some very lyrical tracks focusing on politics as well. Yeah, love this one. Really love this one. Number 6, didn't think they would top their debut in the way they did, but they managed to with this post-punk, soulful, just amazing amalgamation of genres. Algiers with The Underside of Power. Honestly, this is like their debut, but made even better, and I don't even know how they were able to do that, because their debut was so good. And they are just the most exciting and electrifying band around right now. Algiers, man, fucking hell, they honestly just blow my mind with the way they put all of these genres together, and it just sounds perfect. Like, it actually sounds perfect. I freaking love this one. Algiers, one of the best bands around right now. They are political, they are fired up on every track. Love this one. Another artist that I didn't really like that much before, like Japanese breakfast, but this album just blew me away. And that is Suzanne Sunfer with Music for People in Trouble. This is honestly beautiful. The piano ballads on this are some of the best I've heard in a long time. Like, oh my god. I haven't heard an album that's hit me this hard since Julia Holter's Have You in My Wilderness, honestly. Fuck, this is just beautiful. Beautiful, 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 and elegant, and just, it satisfies your ears. It's a perfect nighttime album too. Towards the end of the night, sometimes I stick this on. It puts you in that sleepy sort of mindset. Not because it's boring, but because it's just that beautifully recorded, and her voice is just to die for. Yeah, like I said, the year of the singer-songwriter, man. Another amazing singer-songwriter that's blew my mind in 2017. Foxygen at number 4 with Hang, really high on the list. Again, didn't think it would be this high, but I was just so in the mood for this when this came out. It had that sort of over-the-top, musical, grandiose, like dramatic stage performance, like songwriting, and just the way it was recorded was so like over the top. But I think back in January that was exactly what I wanted, because I'd just seen La La Land, and La La Land was exactly that. So this album came out, and of course it was pretty similar in terms of the way it was made, and I think every time I listen to it, it just satisfies that need. I think tracks like America are really recorded so well. Follow the Leader is a really catchy track too. Yeah, I just love this album. I think it's really unique for an album in 2017. No bands really do this style, and Foxygen have done it, and it sounds awesome. At number 3, the really pained, but at the same time beautiful, electronic, piano-based album from Sampha. He won a Mercury Prize earlier in the year, which I was really happy about, and Process definitely deserved it, because this album is very unique. There are some upbeat tracks like Blood on Me, but then you have like the more experimental approach to electronic tracks on here as well. It all comes together in a really, really well-made way. It's crafted extremely well. Sampha as a vocalist is gorgeous, honestly. No one really tops his vocals at the moment in modern music. I don't think he's up there with some of the greats. In modern music I'm talking about. And yeah, this album was honestly everything I think everyone wanted it to be going into it, because Sampha's been going around for a while right now, and this album was such a great burst onto the scene with a full album. It's not just we're hearing features from him anymore, we're hearing great, painful and beautiful tracks from the guy. Number 2, another album that grew the fuck on me. I really liked it at first, but it ended up being one of my most played albums of the year, because I think the music on here is captivating, the production is beyond beautiful, it is just crafted excellently, and it is Tyler the Creator's Flower Boy. Man, this has some of the best tracks of the year on here, like the bangers Who Dat Boy, and of course I Ain't Got Time. Some bangers here, but they fit into the album really well, and you have tracks like that See You Again with beautifully sang vocals from Kali Uchis. We have Estelle on this album again, singing beautifully. This album is produced to perfection, and it just became addictive for me, honestly. I just kept going back to it, even though I didn't love it that much at first. I just wanted to keep going back. I just wanted to keep going back for more of that satisfying gratification that I got every time with each listen. It just got better and better and better and better and better, and now it's in my top 2. I just didn't think, of all people, I've never liked Tyler the Creator that much. I've always thought his music was a bit edgy for the sake of being edgy, controversial for the sake of being controversial, but he matured like crazy on this one, and Flower Boy honestly is near perfect. It is near perfect, and it isn't even at my number 1. What could be my number 1? So my number 1, I've pretty much loved every album from this guy. He has progressed each one and brought out a new sound that is incredibly unique, and he has experimented with his ideas with electronic sounds on each one, and finally we get to this album, which I think is the best he's ever done. The production is just amazing, like it is immaculate. and the songwriting on here, the concepts with the lyrics are heartbreaking, but they are written so well. And I may as well tell you right now that it is No Shape by Perfume Genius. Of course, I keep saying the year of the singer-songwriter. Of course, a singer-songwriter would end up topping my year-end list in 2017. Man, Perfume Genius on this album, I think he just tried so many new things that he'd never done before, and it just came out like brilliant. There are some simple like piano ballads on here, like Die For You, but I don't know, man, I just think it's the way they're recorded and the way he sings on these tracks. Again, the production is just sparkling, it is just glistening, it is so bright and perfect. Like, I just don't think there's anything really wrong with this album, honestly. I just can't think of any flaws to this. I just think Perfume Genius is like just going beyond his ideas on every album, putting out something better and better each time, and this was the one for me that just like clicked instantly. I was like, yep, amazing. So yeah, my album of the year, Perfume Genius, No Shape. Not really an album of the year that I've seen anyone else have as their album of the year, but I don't know, I just think this one is honestly incredible. It really is incredible. The lyrics where he's talking a lot about like wanting to kind of come out of his body because of that condition he has. I can't remember the condition right now, but he has this sort of condition which just like messes with his mind about his body. He's constantly anxious, and just that whole idea of that is so heartbreaking, and it just makes for such interesting music. Honestly, it's so compelling all the way through. So yeah, that's it. That's my list, my 2017 list. As always, you got to comment your list. Tell me your favourites. Tell me your thoughts on these albums. If you do manage to try these albums after my recommendation, let me know as well. Like, follow me on Twitter and all that stuff, just to keep updated by my tweets on music and all that shit. And then just let me know your thoughts on these albums, please. Any albums that you don't like that made the list that you're like, really, why would that be there? But anyway, it's just obviously my opinion. My list is my list. Let me know your thoughts on 2017 as music as a whole. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews in 2018. 2017 has been good. So happy I have a following of people that actually care about my opinion. And yeah, there's going to be loads more reviews in 2018. So subscribe for more of those. Have a good day, and thank you for watching.